Hey, good morning. My name is Jarrett. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we just discuss news and politics. As you can see and will regularly see, one of Debs wearing an Indiana hat. My Pacers, Indiana Pacers, for those of you that don't care, my Indiana Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals playing against their most bitter rival in the New York Knicks on the road. And the story of this game one, in my eyes, is indeed the New York Knicks choked away a 14-point lead. And also, and this is what I made my content about this morning because basketball is super popular. If you have a show you want people to watch and you're a fan, like kind of makes sense to make content about that, especially if you're actually a fan, right? So the Pacers were having a night getting beat by 14. And long story short, down three, down two, the Pacers have the ball at the end of regulation. Halliburton blows by his defender, by the way. His defender reaches behind him and pokes the ball. He recovers. Halliburton recovers, dashes as best he can out to the 3-point line to create space for himself to get off the last shot. And I'm just saying, if his right toe is about 3 inches back, they win the game in regulation. He hits the game winner and then spins and does the choking gesture to Jalen Brunson's parents. And you watch that shit forever. Okay? Okay? Instead, his toe was on the line. It was a two. It just tied the game. So that choking, that particular choke, not going to be as hard as Reggie's, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there. Obviously, if you're a New York Knicks fan, history fucking repeats itself. Oh my God. The Pacers beat the Knicks on the road in Madison Square Garden. And that's just a big fuck you to Madison Square Garden for hosting that fucking KKK rally. I'll never forget that shit. So every game we win in that building's on the ownership of that team. You understand? That's how I feel about it. Even I actually appreciated the gamesmanship by Tyrese Halliburton to just toss the ball to Carl Anthony Towns with point 0.2 left, to see if he could heave a three-quarter court shot in. Um, Sorry, us indie boys can be fiery too, right? It's not, it's, you know, come on, Dubs. Just having a little fun. Okay. I know there's people like, get to the news, donkey. But I already had Joanne, Danielle, so that's strong. I already had people messaging me, uh, big dumb athlete used in perpetuity correctly. Um, just letting you know. Right? I'm pretty sure I made a piece of basketball content today when I said, yeah, in perpetuity when I meant forever. Because not, I didn't mean actual forever. I would have just said forever. Like I said, if he hits the three and they win in regulation, then you just have to watch that shit forever. Right? Um, we always try to start with the heavy shit first. There's a reason the show tends to. Hey, you want to know how coward people really are? You want to know how coward people really are? The real fans are there most of the show. Okay. No new friends, right? Real fans are here most of the show. Okay. But one of the reasons the show audience grows over the course of the show is because we always start with the heavy shit first. And people are too coward. Even for that. Even for that. People have already messaged me like, I can't watch the first half hour of the show because the news is too heavy. I have to wait until it gets watered down a little bit and I can stomach what you're fucking saying. Sakura girl diagnosed with Addison's prednisone for life and devastated. I don't. What the fuck is Addison? Adrenal insufficiency, cortisol and aldosterone deficiency, fatigue, weight loss. Sorry, fuck that. Bring it on. Yeah, yeah. So I've been saying we hey, I'm even kind of blindsided by this. If I'm being honest with you, it kind of had me shell shocked yesterday, where I was walking around my house like, you've got to be fucking. I'm dead ass. I took a day off work yesterday and couldn't sit down. I'm letting you know. I figured it was your dog, right? Like if I found out my kid got Addison's disease and they had to take prednisone forever, it's like welcome to the fucking club, right? But I figured Sakura probably not a person, right? I thought it was your dog, S&M. I'm guessing prednisone's not cheap. Okay. But this Republican spending bill that they're trying to jam through to give all these cuts to billionaires and also includes a $500 million cut to Medicare. Uh, yeah. And I mean, this is also the same spending bill that cuts Medicaid to give tax cuts to billionaires. And again, I just want to point out to I'm a millennial, right? The first and most heaviest hitting, hardest stories first. We are always talking about what? Medicaid, Medicare, things that primarily our elders are actually on. A lot of kids, a lot of single moms. Um, Medicare is a social safety net. It's one of the most vital, and it's one of the most socialist, successful social programs in history. Medicare has kept people it has kept people from falling out of the bottom of poverty. There is squalor there below poverty, and um, the reason that I can sit and talk about it confidently is because that's where I came from. That's where my parents are from. My grandparents are from. Them poor towns in southeast Kentucky, they're just getting wiped off the fucking map, and FEMA's not helping them. So that's what I feel like I'm doing every day is screaming into the void. I mean, it's totally their fault for not leaving. Long time ago. When a single power pole can take power out of an entire town, I'm not living there very long. Especially when there's a bunch of drunks that just test this power pole out. You know what I'm saying? So, and this isn't to say I know whether it's gonna work or not. Oh, there you go. May 22nd. So again, um, it passed the House by one vote. I just want to point out, after weeks of internal GOP wrangling, The Republican-led House early Thursday passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, critical to advancing President Donald Trump's tax and immigration agenda. A smiling Speaker Mike Johnson announced the massive measure passed by a single vote. Think about this. They had a mandate. This is what the American people wanted. Passed the House by one vote. Struggle to get it done by Memorial Day. So you know what you need to do this Memorial Day weekend while you're fake mourning all your veterans that have unalived themselves and for this country, that you spit on their graves wearing your Trump gear. This weekend, as you have a conversation about your family about filial law. Y'all need to get real familiar with each other, because when Medicare and Medicaid go away, I'd say health and fitness is a really good reason not to get a job, right? Because of the shape you're in. hmm Wait, is that true? Like none of them had been filled? So I just want to point out that when you look back and you think about like who you appointed into certain positions, and you appoint people who are elderly, like 75 years old. Three elected Democrats have died since January. No red states, no special elections for those states. So your health and fitness all of a sudden becoming like highly relevant when you put someone in political office, huh? There's a reason that I wanted to found a modern political party and hopefully attract veterans who are also union members, who also believe in the power of education, right? That are pro equality, pro union. I'm saying pro union twice in the same list because, as I've said, one of the things I wake up and think about every day, how the fuck has union membership been on the decline for the last like 70 fucking years in this country? And then you look at what's happening in the United States and it's like, yeah, when they poo poo collective bargaining everywhere. Look at sports media and how they poo-poo unions. There is no union talk at all about any fucking sport. Well, for example, let me do my little sports thing. If you're not into sports, just listen to me because you like me for a minute, okay? Um, so one of the things that you notice about like sports is that decisions made off the field are going to affect the on-field product. And it's kind of like politics matters, right? Things that happen off the field are going to have an impact on the field. For example, in the NFL yesterday, they failed to ban the tush push. And I also want to point out how this does not promote winning, because the Philadelphia Eagles win the fucking Super Bowl. And then what do? They turn around and vote to ban their short yardage play of choice. I just want to point this out, okay? There's a million reasons it's fucking wrong to ban a specific play, and more important, to penalize. Ooh, look at Jared using big fucking words today. It's more important to penalize people when they break the rules of football. And for example, in football, you're not actually allowed to assist the runner. So when you see an offensive player put his hands on another offensive player and try to push them forward, that's actually a penalty right there. And that would shoot down most people's attempts at the tush push. And also, I think it's boring. I don't think that's what people buy tickets to see games to see unless they're Philadelphia Eagles fans. And by the time Philly is using the tush push, the game's generally under control and sobriety is out the window. So, so I just wanted to point this out. Like yesterday, the NFL attempted to ban the short yardage play of choice of the Philadelphia Eagles, who just won a fucking Super Bowl. So talk about an attempt to penalize winning, right? You win the fucking whole thing and they try to ban your game? Like, what the fuck? They failed to do that. And I think that here's the thing. Jalen Hurts can squat like 600 pounds. So in those short yardage situations, they're going to continue to run that shit. And they're going to continue to win tight contests when they're just able to move the ball and other people aren't. Like in high wind, high rain, high snow, right? Any of those situations, Philly's going to be good because they can run the ball in short yardage with their quarterback, and you probably cannot do that. I'm just, I get it. We're talking about sports, but it correlates with politics, the things that happen off the field, like out at 1 o'clock in the morning, y'all, after weeks of deliberation. The rich people in this country voted to give themselves more money by one vote and take away social safety nets in the United States to line their own pockets with the bodies of our poor and sick and elderly. This is what America voted to do. And what's super unfortunate about math, and the reason Democrats haven't said anything, and I'll take this to my fucking grave, is because when you look at Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP recipients, guess who they overwhelmingly voted for? The people that are on those three social programs. Just so you all know, just so you all know, we spent the whole first, how long I've been here? 15 plus minutes of my show, and it's like real bad math. It's real bad. It's real bad. What percent, what overall percentage, okay, 0 to 100, if they have SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, any one or two or all three of those social programs, how did they overwhelmingly vote? Overwhelmingly vote Republican. That is correct. And I just want to make sure that my fucking heart goes out to all of the people going to be affected by this spending bill should it pass. Because now it's going to again a Republican controlled Senate, right? Where again dangerously they're voting to pay themselves. And again, I want to talk about how many people, oh man, it makes me real sad. How many people are just going to die alone in their house and just miss one too many doctor's appointments and not have anybody to take them to get their prescription drugs. And they're going to close small clinics and small hospitals and even small to medium sized hospitals in cities that don't have a lot of beds. Those aren't going to be as profitable and those are going to close too. And I get it. It's closer to passing and becoming a reality than it was yesterday. I'm allowed to sort of transition from the come on, it didn't make it out of committee to okay. Now, and you're gonna have, yes, I said that already. You were late. So, yeah, we talked about how this impacts people on Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP. and how the people that have these social programs overwhelmingly vote Republican, and how we made sure we spent the first 20 minutes of the show today talking about stuff that does not have anything largely to do with me. This isn't about me. Although it does impact my extended family, people that probably, if they knew what I got up every morning and did, they would say the same things about me that they say about you. Okay? Yep. Our only hope is their fear of death. And I'm telling you, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and the Republicans are gonna fucking wear this one. I'm telling you. They voted to pay themselves over $1 trillion and take it out of the poor and the elderly's pocket. Yep, the big beautiful spending bill includes a $500 million cut to Medicare. So again, we started off the show talking about that. It was the first thing we talked about. Talked about it for 20 plus minutes. Just making sure everybody knows what's most important. Right? Social safety nets, things that impact all of us. Okay? If you're going to lose Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP, where do you think those people are going to go? Why do you think those people are on those social programs? Here, I'll tell you, because no one they know can support them. That's the only reason you're on those programs. And again, what did I say my fear was? All these people are just going to die alone in their house. So a couple rich people can get even richer. And I hate to say it like this, it's not even that much money. It's like not even that much. They're robbing the poor. For the record, I'm a socialist. I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party. I think everyone deserves, with our hard-earned money, with our tax money, we all deserve universal health care, education, income, and housing. There's no reason that anyone should be homeless and be ashamed of it. There's absolutely no fucking reason. Nursing homes are going to close. And also, they can piss it away on this imaginary stock market game that they've already won 100 times over. Nah, like I said, about 85% Republicans. So you know what? All if you're a Democrat, I tell you what, and I told a buddy of mine that I served with yesterday that's coming to Indianapolis next weekend, and I'm gonna change my schedule around so I can hang out with him. Uh, Worst comes to worst, you can sleep in the yard, or I'll buy you a hotel room. Good to go. If you if you're a Democrat and you didn't vote for this, and you need a weekend on me, okay? If something bad happens, you got to get the fuck out of where you are. I've been there before, kids. I've packed up all my shit before 11 a.m. and got the fuck out. Okay? I've been there before. Okay? I'm letting you all know. Yeah, stock market crashed again yesterday. Yep. I'm letting you all know. They are robbing largely the people that they're plundering the people that got them there. Remember how I told you it was really hard to prosecute Donald Trump for January 6th because he was in power when it happened. So do you see how he kind of like harikari'd himself, and he's totally like that. So he would definitely look at the people that got him there as his enemy. And for the record, he didn't never like poor people. Just so y'all know, Donald Trump fucking hated poor people. Why do you think he lived in fucking Mar-a-Lago? He lived in a fucking hotel. Like he never left home alone. I hope they burn down every building with his name on it. Talk about horror, right? You want to talk about horror films? You want to talk about horror films? Because my mom has to stomach my grandma, and that had already happened when my grandfather died. Okay, and that woman like pisses herself and fucking pukes herself, and she's like having a cat, right? With IBS or some shit. Okay, all because of filial law. Hmm. What's hilarious is that you misspelled my name with it right there. So you tried to dunk, you missed, and I don't care. Mm, mm. Stan said, "Did you even watch the Pacer game last night?" Did I even watch the Yeah, they won. But what? This is a weird. Maybe take the even out, because it sounds like accusatory. Like I did something fucking wrong. What do you mean? Did I watch the game or not? I was actually at a football coaching clinic. Yes, I watched the game. I was at a coaching clinic watching a basketball game. With Soldiers to Sidelines. Hmm. I was texting it about it with the kids I've coached. Yeah, you know what? On second thought, Stan, did you just you see how they interact, man? It's like weird. I don't want to know you. I don't like you. Right away. Two sentences. Three sentences. Ugh. So yeah, as I've said and will continue, sorry everybody, we'll continue to say every single day, hey, I know it sucks, man. And a lot of the naysayers have said, uh, there's not daily protests. We're not going to get anything done without there's daily protests. There has been since the beginning of May. You're now 22. That's 3 weeks behind. Okay. So there's this place called Mayday Movement USA. You can go. There is literally a daily protest. You should get involved. Also, you should join a fucking union. You could type in join a union. You go to I liked this little Union Plus, I think. Yeah. I like this little how to join a union page that Union Plus has. Okay? Join a fucking union. Generally, if your vocation has a certification, there's a union. I'm not making any promises. Some unions are better than others. I'm not purporting that any union is better than another. However, comma, because I work in finance and it's basically the goddamn Wild Wild West, I joined Work in America. Okay, which makes sense. It's like a nondescript union. It's like I want to be in a union, but like I'm not quite Teamsters, not quite a plumber or what, you know what I'm saying? No offense to anybody that is. Um, and I support all of it. So I'm very pro union. We talk about unions a lot. If you wonder how the fuck do we get Medicare, Medicaid funded, it's with unions going to the heads of companies and saying, okay, now that we're getting goat fucked on Medicare, Medicaid, we got to improve pay and benefits to lift more people out of poverty, uh, and cut the subsidies that we're giving to these billionaire owners. Largely, what's happening here is accelerationism at its finest. And I wouldn't say fine, it's not going to be fine. Here's the thing about it. You sent generations to war and none of them came home and got rich. So I'm just letting everyone know it's real bad juju. It's real bad juju. A lot of veterans are on Medicare and Medicaid. A lot of veterans that don't have VA healthcare available to them. Yep. And I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know. One of the things is probably one of the more triggering things that I'll say. Um, the healthcare companies make so much money. And keep in mind, like United Health, they're also in like 33 other countries, right, that have developed healthcare systems. In 33 of 34 developed countries, they have socialized healthcare. So you don't pay anything for your healthcare, and it's like subsidized by the state, right? Or your country or whatever. They probably don't even call it a country there. The money that Americans pay, the sum of all the money that Americans pay doesn't make healthcare companies profit. So I'm going to say it again. This is how meaningless our money that Americans pay for healthcare is to healthcare companies. If you took all the money that Americans pay out for healthcare, if you took it away, wiped it off the table, all those healthcare companies would still be very profitable into the many billions. It's not even our money is piss money to those healthcare companies. That's how much money they fucking make. Basically, we could have universal healthcare to fucking morrow and nobody would bat an eye. It wouldn't affect the stock price. United Health is failing anyway. They don't have a choice. They're gonna have to give it away to get back in the game. They need to get enrollments up. I wasn't born yesterday. What do you think? What do you think if you dissolve Medicare and Medicaid? How where the fuck do you think it goes? Healthcare companies are the very next thing. Because once people don't have money and they can't feed themselves, then they just generally their health subsides. Yep. Oh yeah. And again, Christy Nome ran out of money. Yeah. They can't pay people. And oh, by the way, oh, I saw something yesterday. Remember how we've been saying ICE is operating on loose to no jurisdiction. They're not showing ID. They don't have a warrant. They're not dressed as law enforcement officers. Starting pay 23,000 a year. So they don't even get fucking paid enough to dress for work. Okay. And so I'm letting you know when they're not paying you a livable wage, you don't care about due process. You don't care about the treatment of a suspect or prisoner. Again, I'm not calling them really either a kidnappee, the victim. They don't care. They think that Donald Trump's just gonna save them. And the thing about it is that he's not. I just want to make sure I keep saying this is that if you think you can do whatever you want and Daddy Trump's going to save you, just know he's a backstabbing motherfucker and he does it all the time. He's a turncoat and ass. He literally, Mark Zuckerberg flew to him the week before the election and gave him $1 million and Donald Trump still didn't dismiss that fucking case. And now Meta's going to lose IG. He's going to have to sell it. Hmm. I don't know if we talked about that much or not. Hmm. So the thing is, like, it's happening. Uh, it's largely going to affect the people that voted for it. Okay. So I'm just letting you know if you work in a small clinic or hospital or nursing home, if you don't work in a chain hospital with a bunch of beds, uh, time to get on Indeed. I'm just hey, and it ain't even passed yet. It's just now, I think it just now goes to the Senate. It's now past the House. Is that how it works? I'm playing dumb. Okay. And see, this is the world I live in. Okay. So I know that there's still going to be cruelty. Yeah, it's on its way to the Senate. Thank you. It finally passed the House. It only took most of 6 months. And the reason they had to do it is because they ran out of money. Yep, hospitals considered rural close. Thanks, April. What I'd said is I'm concerned with any small clinic, hospital, nursing home, anything that doesn't have a lot of beds, especially in like your medium, small to medium private hospitals that have half the beds of these other places. They're not profitable and they lose all their funding, all their Medicare and Medicaid money. Like, yep. To the person making comments, I love your hat. This is an Indiana Pacers hat. So you'll retract your comment and apologize. And then I'm going to block you. Just so you know. Okay. Goodbye. Blocked. Yeah. I literally don't care. They said Trump hat, Hugo. They led with red hat. I know what they were saying. Mona Hugo. They will put their head in the sand and pretend that it's all Joe Biden's fault. Remember, that's what's coming, by the way. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, they're lashing out because they know it's coming. I just want to make sure we all say, I wouldn't call myself a Republican or Democrat, and I really never have. I mostly voted Democrat. I would say every time but one, I have voted Democrat. I did vote for Junior George Bush, only because I think the media sold us that John Kerry lied about his service. I'm pretty sure. Is I think that was why. So, um, no box is worth checking. Exactly right. So I mean, there's a reason that we founded the American Socialist Party, right? Founded on principles of equality, which would be called egalitarianism, but motherfuckers can't read. So it's like you can't even have that word anywhere near what you're trying to do, or people are like, oh my God, it's a tongue twister. So pro equality, pro union, right? Wanted everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. And know that I don't have empathy for the rich. None. Not a goddamn thing. How the fuck do you think they got all that money? By sacrificing every single relationship they have ever had in their lives. The more money they have, the more they've fucked people up and fucked people over. hmm Especially at this point, the more money you have right now, the more disloyal you would have to be. Because if you were too loyal, you'd lose everything, right? So you would actually, the only way to be ahead of Donald J. Trump is to literally plan for his dipshit ass and then do the opposite. And like I said, it's very evident to me and has been for a long time that the President of the United States is receiving his orders from the Kremlin. That's Vladimir Putin. Again, Russian. English isn't the first language. And then through Elon Musk from South Africa. English not his first language. And then to Donald Trump, who can't read. So if you wondered why shit is fucked, it's because the guy that's writing the bill, the writing the presidential order and executive order is trying to rule by fiat. Okay, is what it's called. Fiat rule. You guys might want to read up. Okay, what he's trying to do by living by fiat is he's putting the responsibility of writing bills on his underlings. So when he writes an executive order or presidential order, the thing that's hilarious about this, I just want to make sure we go over this and it's hilarious. Okay? Every time he writes a bill, somebody below him has to try to figure out, can we make that into a bill? And they get stonewalled a lot where where a judge says that's fucking unconstitutional and then they're like, okay, they can't do that. Okay? So understand that the reason that it lacks organization, yeah, is that it's not his decision. He has dementia and he can't read. So he's receiving instruction from people whose English isn't their first language. So that's why shit is fucked. Otherwise, we would be even more fucked. Like, think about it. If they could fucking read and they weren't stupid, don't you think they wouldn't have tried to rule by fiat? That's not good. It's not good, by the way. It's not good. To put all that pressure on your underlings to create bills out of what you and they got to do all this fucking work because you're an idiot, right? And again, anytime I realize I've got any amount of people watching me, I default to, hey, listen, I'm not one of them people that's going to use my platform to promote violence, but what I'm very clearly saying is to stay ready and you don't have to fucking get ready. So you need first things first, if you need to get started on your journey, you need to get 8 hours of fucking sleep a night. You need it for recovery. No questions asked. 8 hours of sleep a night, and you probably need to take a fucking nap. Okay? Don't be ashamed of a nap. And then you need to drink water, and you need to eat right, and you need to exercise. Okay? If you need a if you need an exercise plan, I'm probably not I've realized I'm not probably the person that you want to talk to because I only know how to go balls to the walls. I don't know how to do anything else. So I'm going to tell you if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. This is 6 fucking days a week. You can have Sunday off. And the reason that I'd tell you to make being an athlete your priority no matter what age is you never know when you're going to have to run for your fucking life. So, if anybody wondered why I got on here and just advocate for a healthy lifestyle, it's not so I think you can beat someone up or fight. What the fuck are you talking about? It's so you can fucking skedaddle, kid. Regroup. Find a community leader. Somebody that's been just fucking doing it right. What I tell you, you need to grow a garden. You need a generator. You need solar, wind and water. You need ways to generate power that aren't reliant on a fully functional society, polite society where there aren't people act that live in the United States actively trying to tear down the walls from the inside while they're in power. By the way, I just want to point this out. They're trying to destroy the government while they're in power. It's so fucked. Yeah, it's about survival, right? It's like every video game you've ever played, right? How do you actually get along in a perpetual world? You have to find a clean water source, and you have to consistently take in clean water. That's generally speaking, that's your ability to move, period. Just move. Water. You have to have nutrition of some kind, and the easiest to get in my eyes, I see protein everywhere. So if you're gonna eat high protein, which I do, like Factor has 30 grams of protein meals, I eat those, right? 500 calories, 30 grams of protein. It's great for you. I know that you don't like to run, but the thing about having been in not just in the Marine Corps on active duty, but having worked armed and unarmed security in lots of environments over a decade, it's not just about pew pews. Yeah, I took a day off yesterday. I even took some time off this evening. Take your fucking vacay. Change your schedule around, see your fucking friends, make it fucking happen. You never know. Could be the last time you ever see them. A real Jeremy Corbyn suggests a new real left-wing party is taking shape in the UK. And this is shit that makes me really mad. Okay. I don't have much. Okay, kids, I don't have much. The world is dark. But I have had a lifelong positive relationship with Nike. Okay. And so I'm sharing this article saying they're announcing that their prices are gonna fucking go up. And that's on all you Trump motherfuckers. All y'all did this shit. You know about Jeremy Corbyn? Yeah. I followed him on Twitter for years. I was in the know, Zeke. I was one of them woke kids on Twitter. But now Nike's gonna raise its fucking prices. Oh, you bitches, it's on. Here's Protest Finder USA. Okay, telling you. Here's 5051. Okay, here you have no fucking excuses. None. None. I'm here every fucking day saying, here, join a union. Here, go here to Reddit. Get rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Get Amazon off your phone. Start shopping fucking locally. Okay? Yeah. I'll admit, I was cool. I was struggling, but I was cool. The number kept going up on Medicaid, and that had me fucked up yesterday. And then yesterday evening, I found out about the $500 million cut to Medicare and this big. I ain't even calling it this. And this fucking travesty. Yeah, those empty containers about to hit the shelves. Yep. And the thing about it is, uh, I know a lot of people that don't look like me that are already struggling and things are only going to get harder. And so as again, I'm like 85% on the people that voted for this are the ones that are going to be most affected by it, but that doesn't take away all the innocent people that didn't have no fucking, you know what I'm saying? That didn't have no dog in a fight. You couldn't even afford to vote. You know what I mean? That's the thing about how important it is to vote when you have the chance. Um, and what do you think? What do you think happens when you further stress hospital staffs? We need a fucking strike. We need a full-throated. I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm trying as hard as I can. And again, I never ask, but you've got to think about how many of you are here and how come there's not hundreds of people here every day passing through, collecting the news, collecting the links, right? You've got to like and comment and share. I can only do so much. I had to come to a harsh realization when I started doing this shit. And then keep in mind, I'm not going anywhere. We've been doing this for over 6 fucking months straight without a break, and I don't sense a fucking break coming. I'm in this bitch every day, sitting right in front of you, going through it with you. It's like watching a car crash happen in real time. Like when I was in fifth grade, my parents were taking my brother and I to watch the Christmas tree lighting downtown Indianapolis on the south side on 31 getting onto 465. Why we were getting on 465, I don't know. And I think the reason that we're getting on 465 is because my dad, absolutely the worst driver. So I'm just going to lead with that. But anyway, there was a police chase in front of us. It was it was a it was a man and his pregnant wife and their two kids. And when we were kind of rounding the bend, getting onto 465, the van careened off the highway in front of us, and it actually hit like flush, like T-boned into the earth, and then it just rolled. And I remember being in like fifth grade and seeing like a baby fly out of the car and a mom hanging out of the car and shit. And I remember thinking like, oh my God. It was like watching a it was literally watching a car crash in slow motion. Literally, it happened when I was in like fifth grade. And you know what's fucking crazy now at my age now is watching my parents rush to the scene of an accident in their church, in their Sunday best. My mom's doing fucking triage on these fucking poor people trying to run from the police and shit. And I'll never fucking forget, like, what the fuck happened to those people in a time of crisis, watching my parents jump into action and do the kind of stuff that they told me to do, right? Where the fuck is that? Who are them people, right? So that's why we're sitting here for a long time today, because the things that are happening aren't impacting me. It's impacting the very people that put me here, that made sure that I got a good education. Those people are going to be directly impacted, and it's not just them, it's everyone they know. It's and you think suicide's a problem now? You think these candy ass motherfuckers that voted for this shit, that are harikariing them fucking selves, you think they're not gonna just fucking toe out on you? You know what's fucked up? You know what the most fucked up thing is? When I was 15 years old, I wrote a poem, Everybody's Going Away, after one of my classmates killed himself because he got diagnosed with spinal meningitis, and this was like before the internet was like a big deal, and he fucking killed himself. And our entire graduating class, I'll never forget this, was just distraught because he was like he was beloved. And for the record, spinal meningitis is not worth killing yourself over. Largely, I would say nothing's worth killing yourself over. However, fucking comma, I'm never unempathetic to those that check the fuck out because it is a lot to bear. They got rid of the suicide helpline. Yep. People are gonna tap the fuck out because of guilt. As someone who's been through holy shit, CBT1, CBT2, CPT, like I'm telling you, thank the fucking VA. Um, because if you don't have the scruples, you don't have your screws tight, you'll tap the fuck out because you feel bad. We lost our live access. Uh-huh. It's just true. Oh, don't worry. We appealed. Okay. Wasn't even talking about myself. Yep. I'm not going anywhere. I say that, yeah. Yeah, we got tapped out for showing a great deal of empathy. Allison, it's one of the more unfortunate character qualities that I have is that frequently when I breathe in, it's hard to continue to do so because of all the things that are going on. But it is least surprising that we get banned on TikTok. Least surprising. So um, and yeah, I just want to point out how happy Mike Johnson was this morning. I just want to point out how happy he was to. You can't just shake a population free of its poor and elderly. That's not how it works. Yeah, they really don't want you saying like lots of people are gonna die, lots of people are gonna fucking kill themselves because they're the ones that I'm literally telling you, I deal with people on the phone all the time that it's not their fault. You understand? I help people all day long that it ain't their fault. And when you're in a conversation with someone and it ain't their fault, you know what also typically you find out? That they're college educated and voted Democrat, right? And they're in a bad financial situation because they don't teach financial literacy in the United States. And here I am, financially illiterate, bang, right? So who do you think cuts to Medicaid and Medicare impacts if the only people intelligible enough, right? Like we have fans of the show that regularly are in contact, like we got to do business, right? These are people smart enough to fucking do that. The average age of my client is not over 65. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the people that I work with every day are my age and younger generally. And they got two fucking choices. They could spend the rest of their life, whatever, how much ever time left, paying fucking interest, or we could stop that shit yesterday. Technically, you don't have to pay it ever again. Technically, because you just yep. And again, it ain't gonna affect me. I ain't on Medicare and Medicaid. I don't have room in my house for someone to move in. I make just enough money at my job to be able to afford a grow garden. Ain't that fucking crazy? I'm gonna have just enough money to grow a garden before it all collapses. Because if you think if some of these elderly aren't going to hang on for dear life and aren't deathly afraid to die, those that don't kill themselves are going to be hangers on. And remember, one of the problems with narcissists is they can never admit that they're wrong. And so I'm letting you know, hey, we got our appeal approved. Do you know, by the way, hey, I'm saying this to y'all. There's 20 of you in here. Don't leave while I say this. I'm looking you in the eyes right now. I'm never killing myself. It's never happening. My entire existence is driven by the fact that for over a decade, I thought that my battle buddy, his name was RJ Rady. For over a decade, I mourned him as though he killed himself. For over a decade, I was a very sad person. And then one day I found out because of RJ's wife and because RJ's family had gone through the Wounded Warriors Project to try to get his separation it turned from an other than honorable to an honorable so that they could apply for benefits. And they failed. And they reached out to me and they gave me all of the information. And they said, Jared, RJ was murdered on active duty and it's being covered up. And now I'm crying as I say, every day I wake up in a new fresh hell. Life fucking sucks. Okay? It really does. It really does. But it drives me. You understand? Like it forces me awake. I'm not sleeping through it. My head's not buried in a pillow. I'm not never wishing I was not here. Ever. Not for me. I already have everything. I won. I won. I got there, guys. I got there. I'm a homeowner. I'm married. I got no debt. Seriously, I'm good. I'm good. So it's not about me. It never was. But I knew that when I was like 15 years old. I knew that long before it ever mattered. It's like I was prepared. So it's really harmful if you know that about me to report me because you are concerned about my mental health. Because you have no fucking clue. Not a clue. I never quitting. Like I'm your worst. If you think you're gonna make me quit, I'm the worst. Ask my wife. I'm the fucking worst. I don't quit anything. I don't quit. I will come back tomorrow. I will beat this eventually. Like when people ask, like, why'd you get into coaching sports? Because I'm not a prick and I'm not a bigot and I can learn shit. So it really doesn't matter what I'm coaching. I can get the best out of somebody. I really believe that. And I know it ain't money and it's not these OGAs. It's not going to like Wounded Warriors isn't going to help overturn his um, separation code. But you know what just might help me? I joined a 501c3 called Soldiers to the Sidelines. It's a charity that helps veterans become coaches. Now, most of the coaches that you'll meet, like every now and like the opening speaker this week was Rod Marinelli, who won a Super Bowl with Tampa. Um, he's coaching seventh grade football in Texas now as an old man. Um, Meeting all these other veterans that have had successful coaching careers gives me a lot of confidence. Not never necessarily as them as my mentors, but having been there before me, right? And I just happen to have a fucking skill set that not many people have, and that's that I'm a video gamer that loved football like you're not supposed to do. I was that kid that put our offense in high school onto um, NCAA football. And when I was at Purdue, I copied Purdue's offense into NCAA football. And then I would make sure that all the opposing teams that we play, that I matched their playbook up. And so that I was getting ready, even though I always tell people I didn't play college football, but I actually could tell you what my opponent was going to do as a player, as like a 19, 20-year-old kid. And so I have a unique skill set that I think I could coach at the Division One or professional level. Again, it's about being likable and having other people want to work for you. And I think if I tell them I can absorb any information. I'm not a prick. I'm not a bigot. I'm gonna show up every day and bust my ass, work really hard, and promote that kind of like a positive work environment. Oh, by the way, my why is that my battle buddy was murdered while I was on active duty, and they gave him an other than honorable discharge, and I just want it to be honorable. And I think if I'm loud enough about that, and we're good enough at football, it maybe they'll overturn it because nothing else has fucking worked. And I know that it's a pipe dream, but it's better than actually being fucking suicidal to the point where TikTok is legitimately blocking me. So as we get back to the show, I just want to make sure that my audience knows I ain't fucking going anywhere. You fucks. Stop telling TikTok I'm fucking gonna brain myself. Jesus. I ain't fucking quitting. So anyway, as I was saying, the show must go on. But I don't ever feel that way. I feel like I wake up in a new fresh hell every day. And I'm just fighting my way out of hell. And you know what's really spectacular about all of this? Man, Tesla's taking a fucking free fall, huh? It took another massive hit yesterday. Keep fucking losing every fucking day. Remember the pen's mightier than the sword? Jesus Christ, dude. Remember how I said that? Killing millions of people with a stroke of a pen. So that's why we fight. I fight because I know that I could spend the rest of my life doing nothing and just leaning on my white privilege. Look around. And it's easy to get really down, but ultimately, I think that you just have to control what you can control. I think that my appeal to you um, living a healthy lifestyle, drink water, eat right, exercise, get 8 hours of sleep a night, take a nap, okay? Take care of yourself first. Just know that the people that mean you harm, they don't. Do you understand? There's a reason I get on here every single day and I'm demonstrating the qualities of a leader that it may not be me because I don't have that narcissistic ego. Of course, I think I could do it, but thinking you could do something and being so narcissistic to believe that you're the fucking chosen one is a little fucking sus. Um, but I hope to instill that in others. I hope someone listens to me and they're like, I'm not nearly as ugly as he is, and I may not be as well spoken, but I'm on somewhere on his level. You probably do better than me if you just wasn't as ugly as I am. Good to go. If I was a prettier when I cried, um, we would just be naturally more popular, and I'd never have to tell you that your likes and shares and comments is what drives the numbers. It drives people to us. That's it. You, yep. Every now and then, TikTok's gonna decide that I am inspiring a massive mental health episode. I've never empathized with someone on death row before, but this has a very I Am Legend ending for this death row inmate in South Carolina. It's an AP story, so don't. Been on death row since '99. He knocked his parents off, and then he tried to make it look like a robbery. Yeah, that's crazy. Speaking of crazy, hmm, I fucking hate the army so much. Here's the army being unnecessarily cruel. Change the army is going to change all transgender persons' sex back to the sex it was on their birth certificate. Being cruel to be cruel. Hmm. You talking about Muammar Gaddafi? This guy? A Libyan military officer, revolutionary politician, political theorist who ruled Libya from 1969 until his assassination by Libyan rebel forces in 2011. Came to power through a military coup, first becoming revolutionary chairman of the Libyan Arab Republic. Is that what you're talking about? Exactly. The if you're kind enough to serve your country should be kind enough to refer to you as ever you wish. Exactly. Andrew said, "What's the point of joining if they aren't on your side?" I can say it, and I've only ever met pieces of shit from the army with my full chest. So I hate to be that. I don't mind being that guy because I was in the fucking Marine Corps infantry. Oorah, Semper Fi, do or die, all that happy shit that many men, many men wish they fucking could say that. But I met a lot of pieces of shit in the army. I have met a lot of pieces of shit. Also met former army that left the army and joined the Marine Corps. So like once you become a Marine, it's like a different story. But mhm. Yep. I think about all the shitbirds I've met, all the terrible people, Tulsi Gabbard, the Flynns. You know what I'm talking about? Who else? Isn't Bongino from the army too? Sorry, I met Cruella. Right? Nah, he didn't. He did. Didn't. Oh, he's just a cop. Even worse. But yeah, that said, there are a lot of like awesome people that are army veterans. Yeah, debt is exploding in the United States. There's a reason that I got into the industry I got in. And I believe the reconciliation bill. I hope it dies. Yeah, me too. His tax bill is also going to cost 830,000 jobs. Yeah, it's definitely time to download the Five Calls app and get a hold of your elected officials and make them profoundly aware of your disapproval with this bullshit spending bill. I'm saying it again. This is because a lot of those got nothing to lose people to do it, to do the thing. Yeah. I think there's a reason the longer this goes, the more I see the reason the Democrats have been so quiet, right? Yeah. It's a financial nightmare. Remember, I tried to tell you debt is exploding in the United States. If you want a job and want to make enough money to survive, you might want to reach out and say, Jared, you seem awfully comfortable. What do you do? I work from home. I help the elderly and the poor with their health. Or no, I used to do that, Jared. I don't do that anymore. I work in finance. I help people get away from interest. Remember that the socialist theory of economics says that things like rent, interest, and utilities, I'm kidding, rent, interest, and tax are derivative of your labor, and that you should limit them. Yeah, now more than ever, community. Because if you aren't prepared to be like communal, it's going to get forced on you when one of your family members has to move in with you. So now all states have a 20-year wait list for services like Texas, right? What's crazy is people speak so highly of Texas, and it's just like, y'all don't make it sound that great. He said, yeah, it's back at bass backwards here. Yeah. Hey, bottom 60% of households do not make enough money to afford a minimum quality of life. Yeah. Unemployed, no health care, no money. They're trying, it's accelerationism at their finest. What they're planning on happening, okay, is they take all of your money from you, turn the police into their protectorate, and then decide who the bad people are and lock those people up and make them turn them into slave labor. And all those billionaires that are getting money are invested in these private prison systems because their accelerationism, their own action is going to cause the potential for mass death. And my thought process is that something negative and violent is going to happen upon all these people. Why do you think the inauguration went off like it did? In my eyes, there were people there witnessing it that weren't evil, and then all of the people who are responsible for it. And it was like it ID'd for the world who the bad guys are. Those ghouls, the ones that her eyes were rolling back in their head and shit. They were so fucking high. Those people. That's why I get on here every day and tell you get off of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook fucking Messenger. Get rid of Amazon too. Shop locally if you can. And I can tell you, I mean, think about how many people elected to live in their cars. It's like a trend. Millions of people are like already living in your car, living in their cars. It reminds me of Days Gone. I don't know if you guys have seen that video game. It's a zombie survival game. Thought about installing that yesterday. It's wild. Remember, every Saturday is a Tesla takedown protest. Almost there. No, I was talking about accelerationism. Remember Curtis Yarvin, a fucking blogger. And and by the way, you know how we've talked about, how fucked up on and druggy like all these people are? You know what's fucking uh like a common thread between all of them is their belief in their fighting of demons. It's not like a immaterial demon. They're hallucinating. Their brains are so cooked at the top, at the very top. There's one of the things that I've learned in my life. Anyone watching The Last of Us, Joanne, dear, The Last of Us was a video game. And there's actually two of them. Top five all time. That I literally, if you want to get into video gaming and you already watched The Last of Us, yep, there you go. Get yourself a PS5 and The Last of Us. hmm I just want to point out that the Elon Musk, the Donald Trumps, the Bonginos, the Trump Juniors, all those motherfuckers, man, talk about fighting demons and shit. They thinking they need to build like their own city and protect themselves, and yes, it is. Yes, it is. Pascal is also very outspoken, and and it's just really unfortunate. They think there's fucking monsters in Mars and shit. Hey, remember what I said, chat. No matter what happens on TikTok, I never don't want to be here. And now, not even a thought in my mind. I hope that is comforting to you. Many people can't stomach what the future holds. But I'll be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Especially, you know how on drugs and brain fried you have to be to get on national television. Two of you motherfuckers. And literally were like, I've seen suicides. That was a suicide. Believe us, that was a suicide. In regards to Epstein, as refers to Bongino, and I couldn't even pretend to know who the person next to them was. Yeah, I think I want to say everyone's that's in here is on the Discord. If you're not, that's sort of a travesty. I don't actually post on social media. I don't use social media like I used to be completely honest with you. Hmm. I used to be really active, post lots of original content, um, like a running commentary, and now you'll see me mostly sharing. Um, so let me invite people. Okay. Gabby said we're alive just got restricted. I'm not sure why. So we'll get out of here. I don't know what the fuck that is. Jesus Christ, I had to dip off a fucking TikTok there. What the fuck did I say at the end? Stupid. But yeah, sorry for leveling with you and saying like, look, I ain't no fucking quitter. It ain't happening. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm going down with a fight. It's happening. I'm not this big. Yeah, I didn't get this fucking big to not go out without a fight. I'm just making it very, very clear. I'm not that guy. I got no health issues, right? I got no reason. Mm-mm. Trust me, I know way too many people on the verge of it, right? That are that way, that are in pain all the time and are on the verge of just letting it go. Go get it. It's just an app. Can't really see who's in here. Actually, I can. Here. Bob, Angie, Dubs, Gabby, Joanna, Cinnamon, Zeke. That's all it says is in there. Yeah, we're the example of what not to do. Uh-huh. You know what's crazy? This is what billionaires will do. I was just thinking about like they'd be willing to like bankrupt a Walmart, right? Like a local Walmart and just completely pull out of a town, right? And the rich people that owned that Walmart weren't making as much money as they could have been making. So they pulled out, they just leave this Walmart sitting there. And then the community around it suffers even more because of the devaluation of their property and shit. Meanwhile, all the value is gone, right? And eventually, with this shit, those same billionaires that are going to benefit from these tax cuts are going to have whole communities living in abandoned Walmarts. So again, if you think that these people care about your city, your town, your community, right? I want you to think about that too. I posted an invite to the chat. Yeah, we were definitely not supposed to have empathy for others. Are you on Discord with your name? Likely alien on Discord, pretty much everywhere. But yeah, Jared Malat, likely alien. Dina said I didn't plan on being a homesteader. I always kind of looked at those people that were homesteaders and was like, oh, y'all are, a generation too far ahead. Because the food doesn't stay good forever. Your food don't keep forever, dog. So and that third and fourth freezer don't last forever, y'all. So again, if you are working within your community and you're able to figure out what you are excellent at growing, you become excellent at growing that. while your neighbors produce the things that they're able to produce at a high level, and you combine your labor, right? And everybody actually has to work a lot less than if everybody's struggling to grow everything, right? And that's one of the things that we've learned looking back is that if we had to do it all over again, it was about communication. It was about community. It was about whatever you're really fucking good at growing and producing, you need to be doing that. Whatever your neighbor's really good at growing and producing, they need to be doing that. And then you need to go halvesies. That's going to make you work a lot less than if you were just toiling, which for the record is what many people are just accustomed to fucking doing. But in the light of all of this, it's like, hey, I don't know who you think's going to be left to pick up the pieces when this is all over. And it's not going to take very long for a whole lot of people to be in a whole lot of trouble. And it's going to get real ugly, right? But it won't ever be because we were turning our head away from it and we were afraid of it, right? We're facing this and saying, what terrible fucking decision making. What piss poor leadership. Hmm. Zeke said started a garden early. Thanks for the push. Yeah. Shit, you don't need to do much. The first shoots of green onions you produce, you're gonna be so overwhelmed with the fact that you did that on your own that it'll probably be hard for you to ever not grow shit. Like I said, my parents grew up. Hey, think about this. My parents made silly money when I was growing up and still had a big ass fucking garden that we ate out of a lot because that's how they was raised. Now, for the record, dead ass, never been that way as a fucking adult. I did my time. Okay. But I get older and you realize in this environment we're in right now, what is in your best interest? Oh, be the best athlete that you could possibly be and know that you're going to throw your fucking back out gardening and that needs to happen. You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I only work till 6:30 today and then I have that coaching clinic, so I'm good. I ain't working a full day. I wouldn't work at all yesterday. And I'm glad. I'm glad because I was no good to the world about 5 p.m. yesterday when I found out they was cutting $500 off of Medicare, and I'm like, that's so fucking reckless and careless.